Right, so according to a news source, on Wednesday, the anti-graft agency will host a discussion on Twitter Space to educate citizens. Now, the Commission's legal and protection officer will speak at the 10th edition of the EFCC Connect, and the topic of the chat, give your house to Yahoo boys and spend 15 years in jail, has elicited reactions on social media, because the EFCC has repeatedly warned owners of commercial properties against making them available to fraudsters. Now, earlier in the month, the Abdul Rashid Bauer-led agency met with the hotel owners in Ilori, the Kwara capital. Zonal Commander Michael Nzekwe also expressed concern about the cold complicity of hospitality entrepreneurs. Nzekwe accused some of them of working with suspected fraudsters by housing them over a long period and making internet facilities available. Now, the official stated that such act negates Section 3 of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act 2006. He said the section provides for a prison term of between 5 and 15 years without option of fine or for any person who permits his premises to be used for any offense under that act. So we are asking, is this feasible? And can the EFCC actually jail landlords for this Fraudsters Act? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. Now, this is actually quite interesting because I have rented a house to a Yahoo boy before. So I don't understand.
How did you find out?
How did you identify them?
So when I rented the apartment, first of all, it was the agency within the estate that gave me that contact and said, oh, okay, somebody was, and again, because you're a landlord, you're excited about somebody getting the property off of you.
Yes.
But when I went visiting the house, at one point, I wanted to inspect the house. I just noticed, there's a style. So he pretended like he has a wife somewhere, but there was no wife. So he made up the second room to look like this was his wife's room. You could tell the signs
that he was
staging a lot of things. And I told him, I said, you have to evacuate this building. I'm sorry, I cannot have you as a tenant.
Just based on instinct.
Yes, based on instinct. And again, because again with Yahoo boys, especially the ones that are suffering, because the ones that are enjoying, they are buying houses. But the ones that are like struggling in the business, they tend to have issues with delayed payments and all of that. Okay. So, when I started noticing that, I just went to the house. I said I wanted to see the space and all of that. And again, when they are agitated, first of all, when I came to the property, he was in the next compound. So watching whether I was coming with police or something. Yeah, he was in the next apartment.
Why didn't he look from his own apartment?
So that's what I'm saying. So he will not be caught and all of that. So he was in the next apartment opposite my own property and trying to see if I was caught. So when he down saw that the coast was clear, that was when he came out. So when I entered the house and I now observed, and I said, no, this guy is doing something fraudulent. And I gave him a quick notice to leave the property and he left. But now, about this Yahoo thing, I hope this guy understands that what's his name?
Nzekwe.
The Rashid Bauer-led EFCC. I hope you understand that in the whole of this Lekki, before you can count clean people that are not doing Yahoo is plenty. It's going to be very difficult for you to be able to clean up that system, because trust me, it is difficult. Even when this new person that I have I don't even still understand, because he keeps calling me with a foreign number. There are just so many things. And these things, you do your due diligence as a landlord. But the truth is that there's so much. I'm not the police, right? I'm not the police. So, and again, there are many pins to this. What is happening to our national identification structure? Do you understand? Just like the way you have your social security number abroad, they can trace your history. We don't have all of those things. So you cannot put that burden on a landlord.
You can even have a national security number. It doesn't explain who you are or what kind of business you do. Then again, after COVID happened and a lot of people were working from home, you can't, because the way the police tends to judge people is once you have a laptop, you might be a Yahoo person. Why are you carrying laptop around? But if you are working from home, you'll probably be in the same situation as a Yahoo person with your laptop constantly. If they came visiting, you may not even bathe in the day because you're not going out to see anybody. You will look corporate on top and be wearing boxers at the bottom, which is what a lot of people did during COVID. How do you want to identify who is Yahoo and who has legitimate business?
Yeah.
And I mean, as a landlord, the same way that some people suffered as single women, not being able to rent properties because people said, oh, I don't want single women in my house because I tend to see them as oloshos and people that will be doing runs all the time. It's not written on the face that someone is a Yahoo person. You're not going to ask for bank balances and check what their transactions are all about to be able to say who is Yahoo and who isn't. So it's very tricky because we've had cases of where EFCC has just barged into people's apartments in the middle of the night. False alarm, wrong apartment, wrong identification. How are we going to curb the enthusiasm when they start going out saying that, oh, they had a lead to check a place out?
An intel, yeah.
Yes. And then even if I rented out a place to somebody, assuming that everything I checked out was legit, and the Yahoo starts playing months after, because I'm not doing spots and checks every 3 months.
You don't even go to their
How am I the one that you're going to hold liable for the person's offenses? I mean, you can say, oh, it's like saying what do they say, harboring a fugitive, or what's the language that they use? But if you can identify that the person is a Yahoo person, just inform me and then see what I do about it. Taking me to prison is not the solution to the problem.
It's even wrong.
I mean, by the time I come out of prison, the rent has expired from Yahoo person.
It is how the prison is disguised.
Taking me to prison is not the solution. If you can identify that the person is Yahoo, inform me and let me be the one to tell on the person and easily get them out of my property.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so let me hear your thoughts, Nama, and I'll come to Elsie.
I don't even have much
The landlords. Sorry.
Well, it's just, I think the EFCC is coming from the perspective that, you know, there are a lot of Yahoo people who are living with audacity, right? So there's some that you can outrightly know that this person's business is not legitimate, right? So the way and manner, I mean, today on Twitter alone, I haven't been on Twitter in a while, but today on Twitter alone, I saw a lot of people carry placard and this one was caught for this and that and that. So many cases. So it has become almost like a pandemic, if I would use that word. So there are a lot of them that are thriving, seemingly, and the truth of it is that a lot of some landlords, no, it's not every landlord that is like you.
And some landlords are Yahoo.
You know, some landlords are Yahoo. Some landlords know outrightly. When you see a young person in their 20s and they're able to rent houses and live in and buy cars in such a way that you are wondering, even you with all of your how many years of experience, do not still have ownership to some of those resources or materials. And then you cannot say for sure this person is 24 hours mostly in the house, apart from when they go and buy food and come back, and they're locked up. Like you said, sometimes the signs are even there.
What if they're trading crypto?
What EFCC well,
thank you,
but there's fraud in cryptocurrency as well.
I know there's fraud.
So the point is that there's a lot that you can outrightly say that their business is not legitimate. And that's why because for me, my grievance is actually from the area of implementation. This act has been on, since 2006. How many people have they caught, really? And how many people have gone on jail terms in the true sense of the word? So we still have a lot of... these things cannot be implemented because even our system is corrupt. We don't even have people that are actually, sincere in actually curbing this situation of fraud. So it's a long way to go, really, and I don't know, the 5 to 15 years. Maybe they want to, because the gravity of it, so that you know how serious. If you are caught, you cannot say that you are ignorant of the law. The law is there.
The law is there, but I can be ignorant of who you are.
Well,
you know why I'm laughing?
Please explain.
So when there is an issue, right, I like to look at the reactions of those that we like to call the middle class and those that are the down there and that are feeling it. It's just case in point when things are affecting the youth, or what happened with NSAS. We saw the movement, and it was easy for some people to just cross their hands and watch. Or when there's fuel scarcity and some can afford it and they really just don't care, it will go, and then others, and then you see what's happening with diesel, and then everybody's raising alarm and saying, this, that, and I'm wondering, what do you want people to do? If you cannot do the right thing because you are closer to these people in power, then what do you expect us to do when we are just managing our lives with our petrol in peace? But I digress. So I like what she's saying.
By she, you mean Lady? Or
I mean both of them, really, because case in point, myself, I don't leave the house, right? All my work is on my laptop. Like you rightly said, I only leave the house when I want to go and buy food. Like that was how I was laughing when you said food. That is the only time I leave my house, except I'm going to buy food or I'm coming for ways, or maybe there is a physical meeting or you're hanging out or something. But in the normal sense of my lifestyle and the work that I do, Monday to Sunday, I can decide.
You can be categorized as a fraudster.
And you can say that this girl is a Yahoo person. So it's difficult. But then my situation, I can't say that is what it is. I'm not going to turn a blind eye to saying I don't understand that there's fraud there or that there isn't fraud, right? So what I did was I called two people. One is in Canada and the other one is in the UK. Okay. And I asked them, if you want to rent an apartment, what is the process here? And then the one in Canada says, proof of income. Of course, she said it also depends on the kind of apartment you're renting. If you're just renting a room in just a small space, they don't really bother much. But when you're renting a bigger apartment, like you're getting a standard apartment, that you want to know how you your proof of income, really, just to show that you have enough to sustain, because they pay monthly.
Yes.
And then they ask you to pay, depending on how big, again, they can ask you to pay the first month and your last month. Your last month can be any time, whatever. You're not saying you're going to put a cap to it, but they just want to know that you have that last month. So when you're ready to go, you give them a notice and you don't have to pay for the last month. Proof of fund as well, especially if you're coming in newly, they want to know that you have money in your account to pay and all that. Then the UK, he said that they ask you for proof of income as well, mainly letter from your employer, bank statement or pay slip, depending on the agency. Then the background check, where what you talked about comes in. They ask for your name, date of birth, previous places you've lived in, confirm from your previous landlord of the dealings they had with you, if you're favorable or not. And then you also get someone that is almost like a reference or a guarantor who would say, I know this person, I know this person's character. So if there's something wrong or you can't even pay, that person can stand in and they'll get their money back. But it just takes me back to everything you said, which is our structure, our system, and what it looks like. So if I give you my national identification number, for example, where are you going to run the background check to know about me or what I do or who I am, right? My worry about this as well is the overzealousness of our security people, because they would do it in a way that it even becomes a crime on their own part. Because if you're saying that a landlord should not give their house to a Yahoo person or whatnot, we're already facing stereotypical issues. She mentioned one, which is, for me as a person, if I want to look for a house, it is a long journey, because our so-called landlords have decided to sit at the place of gods to tell you,
single girl.
I even heard one was telling one that once you are coming into the house, you have to come, and if you are going to have a boyfriend, you have to bring the boy to me and then tell me that this is the boyfriend, and aside that, nobody else. There are some interesting conversations going on around there that if you're adding this to it, is a burden. But what's the best way? Which is why I'm excited about that conversation. Unfortunately, not everyone will be able to ask questions, but I'm hoping that those that can ask questions, or those that will be hosting that space, will be able to ask them the right questions. Because remember the case of what's the lady from Big Brother? Dora, right?
They bought into her house. Yeah.
And that's just one out of many. We heard that because she is a celebrity, she went live, and those things were recorded. But in most cases, you don't know what happens when they barge into people's apartment. These people themselves are Yahoo people themselves, because when you treat people, I've taken Yahoo away from, you are collecting money from somebody, they are even corporate Yahoos. How would you know them? Yes, now, because that's what we are battling in a certain industry that I don't want to even mention their name now. They're corporate yahoos. They would, your bank, you wake up in the morning, your money has disappeared, you go to the bank, I ask questions, and they tell you they don't know, and that's how your money will go. Please, is that not Yahoo? So it's not that you carry laptop and you're wearing dreads and you're doing that. Fraud is everywhere, in every fiber of this society, and if they want to curb this, they really need to be sincere about it and not just place it in the gallery.
Okay, I like where the conversation is going, because again, I was just going to ask this question, that if EFCC were to be in, if Hush Puppy were to be in Nigeria, would EFCC have done the job that the US government is doing right now? I don't think they would have been able to do that. So I was going to ask that, is it possible for EFCC to provide us a portal as landlord? Because I don't understand why you come and arrest me.
But sorry, before you answer that question, there's a part in this story that a lot of people are not paying attention to. Hoteliers, what do they call them?
Yes. No, I was coming to that part, because for hoteliers, I understand that hotelier part well.
How are you understanding it?
No.
That if you're going to a hotel to check in, they say that you ask them of their how do they put it?
No, so the structure for the hotel is, most of the Yahoo boys that live in hotels, they don't go there for 1 night, 2 nights. So you already know.
Well, that's
do you understand? No, I'm saying that, see, let me tell you something. This thing you have to apply
Airbnb.
Yeah, so you have to apply wisdom with this. But I am saying that, is it possible for EFCC to even open a portal so I can send in details of prospective, what's it called? Tenants to their portal. They do the background check, because I don't understand how you want to put the burden on a landlord. I'm not a forensic, I'm not a criminologist, I'm nothing.
And
I just own the property.
Again on the landlord.
Do you understand?
I also don't think that they can, except that they're telling me that the data for Nigeria has been cleaned up and EFCC has the clean data. Because even BVN is not a clean data. National identification number is not clean. Voters card is not clean. Driver's license is not clean. So and they are not even aggregated. So how can EFCC have that portal? Except they say they want you to submit their BVN and they see the transactions that is going in their account and they want to use that to decide. But beyond that, please, how exactly will EFCC be able to set up that place? And if they do, trust me, it's another corrupt system that people will just use to make money. Because it will be, pay 2,000 naira to person.
Yes.
That's just
if laws were being followed the way they're supposed to be followed, you can't even come and check my bank records without a warrant. And there must be a legit reason. That's how life is supposed to be. A bank can't just send my details to anybody. There's something called the data protection.
It's an infringement on your rights as a citizen.
So there's really no way for them to identify who is Yahoo and who isn't. Now, like I said again, if there's someone that they've been investigating and they've been watching for months, their job is to now tell the landlord that this is the suspicions we have about this person. But you can't hold me responsible for knowing who is Yahoo, who is runs, who is doing ritual, who is... There's no... I'm just trying to rent out my property.
If like say from Yahoo, they will move to runs, babe, now. So there shall be no landlord anymore. But let's take a break, right? Because I'd like to open our phone lines. I need to understand this conversation from the perspective of EFCC. I'm trying so hard to struggle. Is it that they are trying to see if this would be a way to curb the menace of the Yahoo? Because we know... That's what they are trying to do. No, but... If that is the case, that means they are getting it all wrong, right? If you ask me, from my own perspective, because you cannot, I'm not trained to, I just have some level of detailing when it comes to those things. That's how come I'm able to identify. But I can tell you for free, people that I relate with, right? People that I relate to, I've seen a few moves that I know, this thing is not pure. But I just keep quiet and I just look away. So, and that's why a lot of these Yahoo boys, most of them, if you see their structure now, they are moving into gated estates. Gated estates so that,
they don't have easy access.
Yes, they don't have easy access like they used to have easy access to them. Yes. So before, all those estates that they will call before they can allow you access and all of that. So I understand that part, but I'll take a break now. When we come back from the break, we'll continue the conversation. I would love to hear.
I'll tell you how to know Yahoo boys.
I would like to.
All right, so if you just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and our focus today is the feasibility of this EFCC's proposed jail term for landlords of Yahoo boys. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. You can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. The number to call again now, our phone line is open, 070-2500-7749. That's the number to call. Please remember to turn off the volume of your television set. Turn it down. You know, see, there's Yahoo mother, there's Yahoo brother. Because Yahoo is not one. It's true. Association of Yahoo mothers came out to say that they should please leave their sons alone.
Really? There's an association like that.
Oh, yes.
And EFCC has not gone to them.
That's my point. So you can't wake up and put the burden on a landlord that is trying to rent out a space, right? So if we want to do a proper, and this is why I always say that Nigeria, sometimes I just feel like we do not even think through the process. You put the cart before the horse. You can never, it's not possible that you are blaming a landlord, you know, for due diligence that you are supposed to be doing. If we had a proper structure in a country that was working, it's a simple thing. Normally, ideally, when there's an accident on the road abroad, all you need to do is to exchange insurance information. That's all. You go back. But this one, somebody batched me. Till tomorrow, that guy never fixed my car. So that car was a complete write-off. We had to sell it as scrap. Do you understand? Because people, we don't even have proper data. Then you now wake up and say you tell a landlord that the landlord should go and the landlord will go to jail. You know, if the person is housing. No, there are some Yahoo, like Elsie was talking about.
Corporate.
You don't even know that this is what they do.
Of course.
But that's what they are doing. Do you understand? So how would you tell that this person...
They have office space, they
everything.
have employees, they have...
I mean, did we not see Invictus that came out on Forbes under 30 front page cover and eventually came back to say that he was a Yahoo guy?
Can you imagine?
Do you understand? I mean, he was fraudulent. He was doing internet fraud. So that's my point. A lot of internet fraudsters are cleaning out their money, building laundry businesses. That was what the EFCC accused. Laundry businesses, car businesses, and all of that. Real estate. They're going into real estate. So how can you now come and tell me now? Somebody has said, I am into real estate and property. You tell me that the person I should not go to jail on his behalf.
So it's clear that the landlords on this table
I'm upset.
Don't want to go to jail. So I
cannot go to jail.
I feel like the best thing to do, which is why I'm looking forward to that conversation, is to have a form of documentation standard that landlords should ask for, instead of facing, oh, are you married? How many boyfriends do you have? No. As simple as ABC. Find out, let them get you a proof of employment or payment slip or whatever that's going to call. At least everybody can get that, right?
And you can verify
it's
that.
It's never a foolproof way, because someone would give you a letter of employment.
No, that is not your own problem. It is to show that
you
you have
done your own due diligence.
No, so wait, when you get it, are you the one going to do the background checks, or you are sending it to your lawyer?
No. It's a phone call. You are calling you do yours, which is basically calling the HR number or whatever on the page to ensure that, oh, this person works with you. They say yes. At the end of the day, if those documents are not original, then that person has committed a second crime, which is falsification of documents, and that is no longer your problem. So I think that there has to be like a proper conversation or clear instruction as to saying, before you rent your house out to this person, forget about those trivial things that are not your business. You're not their father, you're not their mother. Ask them for this, their date of birth, and means of identification, whatever it is. Get those things for your record, at least for everyone that has used your property for residential, at least, because I don't even know how to solve the hotel problem. Let them know that these are the requirements, and let it be requirements that are accessible to everyone that is working. And I think that saves
I just find that Nigeria tends to make a lot of laws without actually thinking.
I mean,
they don't. Let me take a call from our first caller for the evening. Anthony, I believe, from Lagos. You're live.
Wait.
Hello. Need to turn off.
Please turn off your TV or turn down the volume.
You are live. Go ahead.
Good evening.
Go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. I have something to contribute on this issue of landlords and the landlords. To me, I believe that the landlords know some things about those boys. That's the reason why the EFCC came after him. Because if the landlords did not know anything, they wouldn't have arrested because the EFCC, they are not full. They are making so much investigation before arresting the landlord. So, to my own contribution, I know that the landlord knows something about it.
I think he thinks we're speaking about one particular case and not understanding that they're saying that there's a law that would hold all landlords that have Yahoo people as tenants.
Now all of us go jail with that.
He's saying it as if there's one specific case that we're discussing.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
How about landlords who don't even live
In the
in the
country.
I mean, my landlord is living in Canada. So imagine I'm a Yahoo girl now, like you have profiled me.
You're the best candidate for Yahoo because they will not see any landlord to arrest.
It's the agent that got you the place and still deal that they
No, not even bring agents. I'm saying that your landlord is the best.
We were saying something before the call came in, which is to say what is the job of an agent, because they still collect agency fee, right? Because we are speaking to who would do the due diligence to confirm make those calls. It's supposed to be their job, really. At the end of the day, when they've done the collected documents, confirm that they are correct, it's their job to bring this person to you to say, we've done our due diligence, the documentation is complete.
And that's why they are getting an agency fee.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So I think it's something that there can be an understanding. That's why I'm saying again, I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Okay, let me take another caller. Suleiman from Bauchi, I believe. Thank you for calling.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
It's a nice topic that you guys are discussing. EFCC they do have a portal.
Okay.
And it's very easy for them. They have this computer application that they use to trace Yahoo boys. So I think what they are saying is that when the application and the landlord is implicated, in the case of the Yahoo boy, then they can charge you to court. But when you are not implicated, I don't think anything will happen.
No, but let me ask you, Suleiman, this portal, can I as a landlord go into that portal and put in the details of a potential tenant so that the history of that tenant comes up, whether it's coming clean or there is a question mark on the person?
And if you know, if you're a Yahoo boy, they must have, they'll trace you. They must have your identity somehow. But if you put the name of that person, maybe the person must have committed a crime or something somewhere. So they can easily use that to trace that person to tell you whether the person is a Yahoo boy or not.
Okay, thank you.
If they've already
Okay, so
identified the person as a Yahoo
not
person,
exactly
how come
how
he's
it
running
works.
free without his case already started?
So that's not exactly how it works. For them to
hope
even
not.
begin to investigate you, there must have been traces, or someone have made a report to say,
complaint.
oh,
They suspect you of-
I sent money to, you know how it works now,
they
and the money
didn't,
don't
yeah.
hang, and they begin to trace. So they basically trace transactions, fraudulent transactions, to be able to, it's not like they just have a portal that is
With
monitoring
everybody's
everybody in
name.
Nigeria. So why have they not caught everybody if that's the case? You know, so of course they use your phone number and everything, which is why, of course, to do a Yahoo person as well, the kind
have
of
several
phone they
numbers.
use too. Several numbers, even phones that they are not, this type of phones in their house will be turned off.
They don't even have,
yeah.
the phones, they don't even have, what thing they call them?
What do they
Pictures
call
or
those
anything.
phones?
But let me take a caller from
Yeah.
Lagos, I think. Benin. Roland from Benin, thank you for calling.
Yeah, good evening, ladies. How are
Good
you?
evening. We're fine. Thank you for calling.
Very interesting topic people are discussing today. Yeah, actually, my friend even sent me that e-connect meeting today that there's a secular going on by EFCC and the landlords. But it is a laughable issue. EFCC should come out and tell us that they want to clean their house first before telling the landlord they buy Yahoo. Those money that those Yahoo boys are using, they come to the bank. EFCC has their data in the bank. What have they done? You know, you have to, if you tell a child not to steal,
Thank you.
maybe he's hungry, he steals. They should buy food for him to eat so that he will not steal. There's no job in Nigeria. I don't support Yahoo. If not for this Yahoo, Nigeria will be burned as fire every day. We cry. I don't support them. But there's nothing on ground for the youth to do. You go to school, 5 years as a lawyer, you go to law school, then you graduate with all the ethical readings, You come back, nothing to work. But you get mama, you get papa, you get brother for house. They should be serious. I am into estate, I'm into real estate. I know what goes on, what comes out. The EFCC today are buying duplexes in Lagos and Abuja. How much is that salary?
Because tell me.
The EFCC you said, because we don't have that house in Nigeria, if you go to all these big properties in Abuja, they are owned by EFCC staffs. They should clean their house first. There's a common saying in the scripture. Say before you can tell somebody why they move the mood in your eye, but you have a plan for your eye first. Let them go and do their internal cleaning.
Thank you.
Who takes settlement for those Yahoo boys? How many? Okay, with the numbers of Yahoo boys in Nigeria, how many have been arrested and been persecuted?
Thank you.
They will arrest them, take to Abuja, to Lagos. Those boys will give them money. They come back to Benin. We have them very well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's be frank with this country. This is our country. And nobody will defend the country for us.
Absolutely.
But now begin to have people that the issue is when you have competent people in position. They cannot provide solutions to issues. These are the kind of policy you see.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I have to say now that before I go to jail, I don't know his crime.
Sorry,
I can feel your pain, Roland.
I don't know him, madam.
I was just to quickly say that what Roland mentioned about bank accounts. So you want to tell me that people,
I mentioned that
people that have they should close. They should arrest the bank MDs now.
I mentioned that earlier, and I said something about corporate Yahoo, and people were laughing. It reminded me of the story that was trending yesterday, which is MTN taking 18 banks to court, basically because 222 billion naira fraud happened on the system, which is the Momo system that they just launched barely. Is it up to 2 months? It's up to 2 months. But a fraud has happened, which is that they woke up one morning, a system clicked something, and money moved to several accounts of many people. And it was funny. Because these are things that some fintech platforms have suffered, but they are never willing to come out publicly to talk about it. Because they also don't want people to feel like their platform is not secured. But the platform, from the one who is handling the switching to the one who is your payment processor and the banks, when this thing happen, you talk to them, they tell you there's nothing they can do about it. Now it's happening to a big platform like MTN, right? And they are going to the bank and they are dragging each other there, and everybody's laughing. Because honestly, it is funny. It's been happening and everybody has been covering it, but who wants to cover 22 billion naira?
Even the MTN that is debiting your charges.
Is it Cubana or Hosanna? Okay, from Lagos. Thank you for calling.
You have to read it.
You are live, oh, please turn off the volume of your television set. Like, we will cut you off.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sure, landlord going to jail for like Yahoo boys. I don't think the idea is a good one, because in case of things like this, the landlord might not know the real person that is the house.
Okay, thank you. We have to cut you off. I'm sorry. We said please turn off, because when we get that feedback, it's a waste of time because we can't hear ourselves, right? Please, when you call, turn off. Just turn down the volume of your television set so we can have a clean conversation.
But when are we going to address the Yahoo people that are landlords in this Lagos state? Because the way rent is going up, do you think it's until you collect money, fraudulent transaction, that is Yahoo? Why would you wake up in a country that the minimum wage...
Leave your pain to our corner. Today is my pain.
No, that the minimum wage is 18... Is it 30,000 or 18,000? I don't even know again. Let's say 30,000 naira. And you say your rent for mini flats. That's maybe you don't know what mini flat is.
1.5 million.
A parlor, a kitchen.
Studio.
In fact, thank you, studio. The smart thing.
Everything is studio.
1.5 million.
It's even cheap now for 1.5 million naira. So where do you want people to get that money if it's not from
names
Yahoo?
on the portal?
And it's 2 years.
So I like what you just said, because again, and this is the bigger picture I want EFCC to see in case they are watching, right? The big picture is the economy is not doing well
At all.
Do you understand? That's why we have a lot. You have to go and ask Why do we have people doing Yahoo? And why are the numbers increasing by the second?
From top.
Do you understand? You solve that problem. But let me take Austin from Benin. Thank you for calling, Austin. You're live.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, long time.
Yeah, really long. I don't think there's anything about this. The boys are all of this. And
Okay.
most of it all, there are no okay. Really, boys, you can't find the office.
Oh, sorry, Austin. Please, if you can try to call back, we can't hear you. The line is muffled. We're having difficulty. But if I understood what he was saying, like in Benin, you can't find it. Almost all the young boys. It's scary.
You can't see anybody doing
It's
anything
so
like
scary.
that.
Wow.
Seriously.
You know, that's where I'm from. It is really scary. It's a pandemic. Delta, Benin, you know, a lot of people. Look at on the island here.
Today I saw a
Agege.
trail of all sorts of
So how many do you want? I said your prison will be full.
cases.
You won't even have space if it is to arrest the landlords.
No, but it still goes down to the situation or the state of our nation.
That's it.
Absolutely.
As long as we have
is just a
failed
symptom.
institutions,
The system is failed.
there's nothing. I mean, what caught my attention is that this act has been on since 2006. It's been 16 years, but the increase in Yahoo
Activities.
business
Very
is
So did you notice how cultism took a back
seat now?
Why do you think cultism took a back seat? But I think Austin has gotten through back. Thank you for calling again. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the in Benin, for instance, it is believed that the economy of Benin is being run right now by Yahoo boys. Well, since suddenly there was a time since suddenly went up. The price of things suddenly went up, and people believe that it's the Yahoo boys that have made things to go up. You know. Now the hotel. What about the hotels? There are a lot of hotels springing up in Benin everywhere. Some of the hotel owners have said that the Yahoo boys are their major clients. You know, so I don't know what they are going to do. But the boys are even building their houses now. They are building their houses. They no longer go to stay in the hotel, but you know, go to the outskirts to build their houses. So I don't even know where this EFCC will start from. I mean, I don't know.
Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely, because I mean that's what I mean.
It's
a lot of
not
them
like
are
it
going
doesn't
into
make
big
sense.
time real estate businesses.
Yeah.
So what are you saying?
Owning properties and even, I mean, they're giving one another.
They're not
Yeah,
only
accommodation.
they're not even owning
They are the
properties.
landlords of
they are
the-
owning estates,
Yes.
right? So I mean, where do you want to start from? So it is actually very, very laughable that you're coming out to say that you won't start arresting landlords because they are a lot of these Yahoo boys. Now they tell I say na suffer head Yahoo na in the rent house. Suffer head, they always say you never blow. Now in the rent house because most of these Yahoo guys that are in
joint
money,
ventures
they
and
have multiple properties and they are doing different kinds of businesses. Even this your club business, the club business in Nigeria.
It's thriving because
Who do you think is keeping the club business alive?
The Yahoo boys,
So,
because it's
I mean,
also a way
because
of
they're the ones
laundering
that
money.
have the
That's what I'm
funds
saying.
to
Yeah.
be able
They help club owners help them to clean out their money. So you can't. It interwoven. Like landlord is the least of your problem as a
Like
as
I said,
EFCC.
it has to be from top to bottom.
It's the least of your problem. Let's take some comments.
So there's a comment on Twitter. It says, on the issue of EFCC, this from @Spotlight Abbey, incarceration of the landlords of Yahoo boys and a portal for running checks, I laugh. Without a central identity database, you may never know if the potential tenant is giving you his correct name.
Thank you.
Our security agencies need to do more.
So let me take our last caller, I believe. You're live.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you. I see the topic of today is really good and very impressive. My contribution to the topic is that I did know in Nigeria judicial system of government is working fine. EFCC do not need to go to this extent. But it's because our judicial system is poor and is dead. Sometimes they need to break rules a bit just to get just to achieve their aims and objectives. If you know the meanness that these Yahoo boys are causing people, I'm telling you, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, my cousin died of such. And now, assuming my father is a police officer, he died about 16th of September 2020 during COVID. He died and he served government for 35 years. Now, assuming that a Yahoo boy is now said because the country is hard, things is difficult, so it's now my parents' money, my family's money that he wants to use to enrich himself and his own family. How does that stand? Is it not cheating? And people will be talking about human rights. What is human right? What is human right? The only human right is to do the right thing.
Thank you. I think he's speaking from a pain point. Thank you so much.
Another comment says, good evening, beautiful ladies of ways. I really do agree with a previous caller that this is a very laughable issue. Is Yahoo boy written on the person's forehead for the landlord to know what the person does? Our people need to face more pertinent issues rather than trying to scare hardworking Nigerians for nothing.
Absolutely.
That's from Miss Kemi. Thank you.
Miss Kemi, that's a new caller. Go ahead.
Someone says, why don't we invite the chairman of the EFCC to come and sit with us and tell us how they plan to go about this thing,
we should,
the different rules that they come up with.
We should. Nama, your comments.
All right, so I have this one from Daniel. He says, good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? #ways. EFCC's proposed jail term for landlords with Yahoo boys, to my own understanding, I don't know if I am wrong or right, but I believe in one thing, that before a landlord can accommodate a Yahoo boy or boys, I expect the landlord to ask them what they do for a living, because if what they do for a living is illegal and not clean, then the landlord will end up being implicated and become a suspect. To me, I do not support Yahoo because it is a risky and dirty business. So I support the EFCC jail term for landlords who harbor Yahoo boys. The landlords will decide to accommodate them because he feels he can gain from them. That is my own take.
So if a Yahoo boy came to give you money now, would you reject the money?
If I knew he was Yahoo, I'll reject it.
Okay, you sure?
But if you don't know and you accept it and accept him, and then they come, do you now return and start claiming?
Well, you paid for the part
because
that
you
stayed.
This thing that EFCC is doing, Yahoo boys go to church, they go to a mosque, they go to different places, they go,
they worship, they have to go and give they have to go and give Thanksgiving. Yeah.
So I'm just saying to everybody that all this conversation around Yahoo, it's not feasible. So I need the EFCC to take a second look at this. Please, first of all, landlords, they know your problem.
I mean, they're going to have a conversation on Twitter tomorrow.
Yes, we are going to be on that Twitter space.
They're going with it.
I plan to be on that Twitter space. I hope I put a notification. But thank you so much, ladies. The phone line is buzzing. I'm sorry you can't take more calls. Thank you, Nama, Lydie, and Elsie. We had a fantastic conversation.
Thank you.
Now, before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagrams at WayShowAfrica. You can follow us on Twitter at WayShowAfrica1. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, this is my favorite quote from a Yahoo person. Say, person will no open door for us. We go still come back, buy the whole building. That's from Ajay. Whoever Ajay is.
They're going to buy EFCC right now.
We'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8 p.m.
They're going to buy EFCC.